On April 23rd, 2025, I received an email from YouTube telling me that my Alanah Pearce is a pathological liar video is being removed because it didn't follow community guidelines. This video had been published nearly 6 months earlier than that, had nearly 180,000 views, and nobody in the community that I saw or heard of had any issues whatsoever with the video at all. It was taken down by YouTube for not following the sex and nudity policy, but nothing in the video, in my opinion, fell under what would qualify as sex nor nudity. What it turns out is apparently there's a stipulation in the terms of service of YouTube that if you dive deep enough, you'll find some information based off of a video including content depicting unwanted sexualization, sexual acts, and explicit nudity. Now, one thing that I never really noticed about this is the unwanted sexualization portion of it is really up to interpretation and can easily be warped by bad actors or people that don't want a video up about them and just claim, oh, I feel sexually harassed or I feel like they're depicting me in a sexual way and that makes me uncomfortable, and because of that, that video should not be up anymore. Where in this case, there was a tweet I showed towards the end of the video where somebody showed a close-up of Alanah Pearce's chest, and I was trying to give the context of what some people in the community think about when they think about Alanah Pearce. And I feel like that was important context to add to prove my point as to the general sentiment in the community for what some people are saying. In no way did I intend this to be sexualization of Alanah Pearce, but more so informational to give people the full context as to why people feel the way they do about certain figures in the community. But with that being said, after a back and forth with YouTube, I finally got an email response telling me the specific portion of the video that is not allowed to be up, and I thought it was the knees, and I thought it was the AI mistaking knees for something else, but it turns out, nope, it wasn't anything to do with AI mistaking knees for something else. No, it was just because of her chest. Her chest got the video not just demonetized, not just blocked in some regions, but completely removed from the entire platform. Not caring or taking into consideration the full context of why it was important to show that portion, but instead taking the side of whoever ended up reporting this video and ultimately determining to take it down because of sexual content and unwanted depiction of someone in a sexual way. Even though this was a picture that was uploaded by Alanah herself, apparently because it was zoomed in, YouTube uses that as authorization to say, nope, that's unwanted, as opposed to saying, oh, okay, the context is he's saying this is the reason why certain people maybe give her the benefit of the doubt over other people on the platform. Again, after being up for about 6 months and getting close to 250,000 views, the video just all of a sudden came down. A couple days later, Alanah Pearce posted a video in response to me without naming me, but basically everything I talk about in this video, she gives her counter to the arguments. And you know what? For the most part, it's fair and she gives her perspective, and that is important. But now, since that video has come out and my video was taken down, we have additional information coming from Harmful Opinions and the YouTube channel called Nobody that have since found privated videos from Alanah Pearce showcasing her explaining that she was, or potentially sounding like she was, trying to say that she was a writer on God of War Ragnarok, shortly after challenging the internet, saying, I never did it, you can look, you can't find it because it never happened. Of course, when you challenge the internet, they're always going to find exactly what you say they aren't going to find. So now we have additional context proving once again, in my humble opinion, that Alanah Pearce is a pathological liar, and this video is going back up now that I've gotten approval from YouTube themselves, and I will remove that one portion of the video that shows her chest zoomed in when I say there might be some reasons why people tend to give her the benefits of the doubt. I'm going to list Harmful Opinions videos and Nobody's videos in the description below. I highly recommend you guys check all of those videos out for full context about how she very slyly seems to manipulate the truth and information to fit her narrative instead of what the actual reality is and why people came to the conclusions that they did. And again, as I always say, is this the biggest deal in the world? No, it's not. But at the same time, I feel like it's very important to hold people accountable to what they're telling the world. And if they are giving people a false narrative, a false reality, or a false implication of what they actually did at a company, I feel like it's important to call that stuff out. I don't think I'm the enemy here by pointing a finger and saying, hey, that's pretty sus. But then again, if you got simps for someone, they're going to get really mad at you because they don't want to see their queen taken down. And I get it. But at the end of the day, this is all the information we have up to this point. And I guess now on with the video that was previously taken down. You know what's funny is typically when you look on YouTube and search someone, there's videos talking about how people don't like them for various reasons. But when I look for Alanah Pearce, there's a few videos of detractors and tearing her down for individual things, but there isn't like a big rise and fall expose of her. And I found that fascinating because there's so many things that I've seen her do very controversially throughout the years that you would think this is something that would come to the forefront. But no, for whatever reason, people just continue making individual videos instead of saying the whole person has a major issue with being honest. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. And today we're going to take a look at Alanah Pearce because she seems to be going to Twitter once again to defend her positions of not lying when she clearly lied. And I gotta be honest, when I see that, I feel empowered to have to make a video. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full article breaking down how I feel like Alanah Pearce is a pathological liar and someone that continues to perpetuate a narrative over the years that isn't real. Before we go too far, of course, it should go without saying, this is an opinion piece, an opinion that I've shaped over the course of years by watching Alanah's rise and inevitable fall from grace throughout the video game industry. Alanah Pearce has long enjoyed an extremely favorable reputation, but beneath her carefully curated public image lies a disturbing pattern of dishonesty that I just have to address here. This has gone on far enough. One of the more glaring examples is Alanah Pearce's constant dishonesty involving her self-proclaimed role as a writer in the development of God of War Ragnarok. She tweeted on January 20th, 2025, "I am aware it's fairly pointless to address this because if you fall for the BS, I think you've actively chosen to. But yes, I was a writer on a AAA game at Sony's Santa Monica for 4 straight years. I created characters, developed main plot lines, wrote levels, etc. I work with hundreds of people who can and do support this. Anyone who tells you I fabricated this or quote-unquote only worked on a cookbook is an idiot." Which you read that and it's just disingenuous because now you're saying you worked on a game from Sony Santa Monica instead of saying you worked on God of War as a writer. So people are like, okay, which one is it? It's just like we can't take anything she says seriously. It's disingenuous. I have been probably annoyingly vague about the details because when you work at a big company and you have a following, sometimes people explicitly ask you to be. And I care much more about the people I work with there than I do about the internet's bad actors, which here we go again with calling anybody that dares call you out a bad actor on the internet to project and become the victim. But what's really going on here and why is she saying this? And Kiryu on Twitter posted, "What you're saying is disingenuous. You're a proven liar. You were hyping yourself up for the God of War Ragnarok saying, 'Oh, I'm a writer on this game, guys.' Turns out you lied and it was a cookbook." And Alanah responded, "Okay, genuine question. Obvious bad faith aside, could you let me know where I claim to be a writer on God of War Ragnarok specifically? Genuinely, even one screenshot where I said, 'I'm a writer on this game, guys,' or anything along those lines." And when you hear that on the internet, they take that as a challenge and come back full force. So you better be prepared when you ask for that evidence because She got it. Blugner posted, Alanah, I noticed your name isn't on the credits for God of War Ragnarok. I'm guessing you didn't work on GOWR? And Alanah replied, my name is definitely in the credits. Look again. And sure, when you look at the credits, there she is as an accessibility consultant, not a writer. So sure, she worked with the team on making the game. But again, this is being disingenuous to the audience as to what she actually did on the team. Instead of just being forthcoming and saying, yeah, I worked as this job and I think people would have been perfectly fine with it, she wanted to raise herself up, put herself on a pedestal, and make it seem like she had far more of a role on that game than she really did. And that's what people took an issue with. And as Pirate Nation on Twitter said, as per Sony's own page, accessibility consultants have no part in the writing process and work solely to make the game easier to play for people with disabilities. So again, she might have worked with the team and on the game, but she wasn't a writer for the game. And that's a big distinction because this is someone that could try to parlay that into, I don't know, a writing gig at another company if they misunderstood what she was saying on Twitter and maybe thought she did have writing experience and then she got a job parlayed from that. That's a problem because you're basically lying on your public resume. And Anthony Birch, an actual writer on the game, posted on Twitter saying, if someone's not credentialed as a writer on God of War Ragnarok, they were not a writer on God of War Ragnarok. My spite for those who would accept undue credit outstrips my spite for this platform, apparently. Which is wild because this is someone who actually was a writer on the game, not calling Alanah out by name, but basically saying, yeah, I'm really sick and tired of Alanah pretending to be a writer on this game when she had nothing to do with it. And then we move on to the art theft controversy. And this one's so wild that I had to triple check it because I'm like, there's no way that she did this. Alanah's penchant for misrepresentation doesn't stop with just pretending to be something she isn't with writing. She apparently also pretends to be an artist, and she got caught red-handed, straight up stealing artwork and attempting to pass it off as her own. And this one is pretty egregious. The actual artist, Sarah MD, exposed Pearce's theft with a statement on Twitter saying, regardless of the method used to draw this, my original artwork was not referenced as a source from the beginning. That gave the impression that it's her original drawing. And no, it didn't take me 45 minutes. It took me 3 days. And when I show you what Alanah did with this, it's gonna blow your mind if you haven't seen it already. Prepare to have your socks knocked off. So Alanah took this image and posted it to her Instagram and said that she was the one that drew it. Straight up with the caption. Smashed out one very scribbly shinobi while I waited for WoW Classic to download. Done with Derwent pencils and black Copic marker on trusty old printer paper. Took about 45 minutes. Hashtag Sekiro. Why would you do this unless you're a pathological liar? Nobody is prompting you to lie about this or steal this artwork or say anything of the sort. This right here is like exhibit A to why this person has an issue with telling the truth. They have to fabricate things and push them forward to make up for something that is seriously lacking. Try as she might, Alanah attempted to recover the situation, but the cat was already out of the bag and it was far too late for anything. She tweeted, hey, I just sent you a DM, but I'm extremely sorry about this. I never tried to give the impression that it was my original work, and I updated the post as soon as I found your name. I was very open about it being copied and added your name as soon as I found it. Which, I gotta be honest, based off of what she posted with the picture, I don't know about you guys, sure as hell sounded like she was trying to give the impression that she drew it herself in 45 minutes. In fact, I don't see how you could see that post and think anything different than that, but don't let the truth get in the way of a good narrative. which the original artist replied to saying, "Hello, I'll reply here. I always put my account on artworks I draw, so it shouldn't be hard to find it in the first place, especially that you're focused on the image, plus the fact that it's copied, was not mentioned in your first post, and only added after people pointed it out," which I gotta be honest once again, not a great look, and shows that this person, Alanah Pearce, is someone that you can't really trust. Okay, and then you move on to the next situation with the whole Black Myth Wukong and calling out the developers of game science and saying that they're crying at the actual Game Awards 2024, when in reality, none of them were crying and it was completely fabricated. Why? I don't know. Maybe she was trying to throw shade at game science to pile on them alongside with her buddies at IGN with Rebecca Valentine and how they wrote this article slandering Black Myth Wukong and trying to make them out to be the worst people in the world. I don't know why they would do this, but she did, and it looked horrible. And it was exposed completely by Asmongold in a video clip.
But this is nothing compared to what actually caused the firestorm.
And I was in the front row this year, and the Black Myth Wukong team, I don't know which person on the team, was crying when Astrobot got Game of the Year, because you could see them just looking down the line. They were upset,
See?
definitely.
At the end of the line, there's Game Science CEO. This is the same person that is being criticized for being mad about losing the Game of the Year and accused of sexism earlier this year by IGN in a complete mistranslation which we rebuked many times. All right, then we can just go and see his reaction when Astrobot won the award.
Astrobot!
And there it is. Now, I'm not saying Alanah is lying, as the other devs beside him might have been more upset, but Twitter creating a fan fiction where the CEO was crying and upset is absolutely false.
And you have the whole situation of her trying to shame parents for having kids and calling them people with disabilities because they have kids, and now they're gamers with disabilities because of having children. And the lengths that she goes to try to explain her position are so beyond ludicrous and ridiculous that I almost wonder, why does anyone listen to a damn thing this person says anymore? They're disingenuous, they lie straight to your face, and then they pretend that they're the victim when they get called out. All these incidents combined with her consistent fabrications and self-serving narratives paint an extremely troubling picture. Pearce's willingness to manipulate facts for attention or sympathy suggests to me a severe lack of respect for her audience and the industry that she works in on the whole. Her consistent dishonesty and straight-up bold-faced lies highlight a systematic issue within the entire game industry as well: the ongoing shielding of influential figures in the gaming industry from any kind of accountability. I don't see any major outlets ever taking her to task on this kind of stuff. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, not a problem, it's fine, she's one of us, and people make mistakes and totally screw up, or straight up lie to their audience and then just get away with it and nobody says anything about it. Pair this with the information from Mugen Lord calling her out for trying to explain away why women in gaming in the modern era look uglier, and the explanation that she tries to give here is so embarrassingly bad that I think she actually deleted the video, because I can't find it anywhere, but Mugen Lord captured it and completely exposed her for not knowing a damn thing about what she's talking about, especially when you relate it directly to other parts of the world and how they motion capture women, where they actually look like the model that they capture.
When it comes to Alanah Pearce, she decided that, hey, I'm going to weigh in on this as well. So she pretty much left a video saying that, what, now women are ugly in video games? And she pretty much gave her reasons why women look the way they look in video games today compared to what it was like a long time ago. And you gotta hear her response. It just blew my mind. It just baffled me.
Someone with like a camera in front of their face. Motion capture is when they're moving their bodies. Performance capture is able to pick up more nuances of the human face. And so hand in hand with improved graphical fidelity in video games, you are able to actually capture more like micro movements in the human face. So your face scans need to be more accurate and in general a little bit more human, thus more flawed, 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 thus more flawed. Humans have a bunch of flaws on their faces. This is a very common part of being human.
Again, this goes to show that she's trying to portray coming across as someone who knows something about the game industry and knows what goes into making these games behind the scenes, when in reality, she's just being a disingenuous liar, pretending to understand what's happening, trying to explain things away to run defense for the game companies that have been clearly making these women ugly on purpose for years now. If this were anybody else, they'd be getting roasted on the daily, universally. But no, something about Alanah is different. Her beauty and charm might explain why she escapes some of the scrutiny, but the evidence against her over the years is way too significant at this point to ignore. From the art theft to false claims about her professional contributions and fabricated stories that undermine others, Pearce's actions demand accountability. There's far more I could dive into in this video, and it is all sus as hell, but I'm going to leave it at this because I feel like this is plenty to chew on right now. But this is someone that I have lost a tremendous amount of respect for over the years, that I used to look up to as like, hey, that's a hot chick that likes video games and seems to know what she's talking about, so sure, I guess I'll listen to that. But at some point, the community's got to figure out whether it has values and truth and integrity, or if it continues to allow individuals like Alanah to rewrite reality completely unchecked. Right now, the choice is the gamers, but the evidence is clear in my humble opinion. Regardless of where you stand, Alanah Pearce's narrative is not one that I trust. Not in the slightest. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want more information, check out smashjt.com for the full article breaking down all the information, links, evidence, resources, screenshots, everything I got, because holy crap, this was quite the deep dive. If you appreciate what I'm doing, hit that join button. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.
Have you heard about what the Wukong CEO said? Yeah, I heard it got totally misrepresented because once again, people don't speak Chinese.
Context. In the last couple days, Black Myth Wukong devs have been dragged through the mud for particularly two things. First, because it came out that in a statement, Game Science's CEO said he felt wronged by the Game Awards and had a Game of the Year acceptance speech prepared since 2 years ago. People who could actually read the post tried to correct the story, but it was already too late. The CEO was in fact grateful for winning 2 awards and made a joke while responding to the Wukong fans who were frustrated. But this is nothing compared to what actually caused the firestorm.
And I was in the front row this year, and the Black Myth Wukong team, I don't know which person on the team, was crying when Astrobot got Game of the Year.
Smash